Kind Holidays was created to give the most challenged of families free holiday accommodation at their hotels and resorts, giving these families, many of whom include a sick or terminally ill child, the chance to create their most cherished of memories. For many, it will be the last opportunity to enjoy truly happy times before their loved one passes on. Pre-pandemic, over 1,000 charity holiday guests enjoyed precious time at an idyllic resort and in return touched the hearts of so many of their staff.
Rico has a condition that's very rare of the blood called mycosis fungoides, and Phoenix, very sadly, has a rather more serious condition called infantile neuroaxonal dystrophy. So he's lost all of his skills. If you take him to the waves and he's asleep, he just wakes up. It's got this profound effect on him. It's really nice, and then he'll fall asleep, and it's really nice. We really don't want to go home. I think the resort itself is a pretty unique concept, and I really love it. I would be very happy to stay here for a long, long, long time, maybe forever. I think the family vibe as well. There's staff that have been here for years, and you can really feel the love. So that's been really nice to be part of, because we don't have that back home. It's just the three of us, and to feel part of something, and to feel that we've got every element we need, that we actually really need. The sun, the climate, the breeze, the water, the birds, everything. We've got everything we need right here. It's kind of perfect.
It sounds just idyllic, and you said you would love to be able to stay there for a bit longer. You know, when you were there, you touched so many people, and they would like to offer you and the boys another chance to stay at the resort in 2020. So hopefully you can find some time to have another holiday.
Really?
How does that sound? Is that a yes?
Yeah, that'd be lovely. Yeah, that'd be really great. Did you hear that, baby? We can go back.
The pandemic struck in 2020. Sarah and Rico were unable to have that second holiday in Spain with Phoenix. They were, however, able to spend time in a beautiful resort in the Cotswolds, surrounded by lakes, 6 months before Phoenix sadly passed away at the age of 10.
So we've ended up sitting here by the lake, which is really beautiful. I don't know if you can see the lake in the background. We had a walk earlier, and we love you guys so much, and yeah, it's really nice of you to think of us to come away for a little bit, and it means such a lot.
The short time that Sarah and Rico had with Phoenix was precious, and some of their happiest moments were spent at an idyllic resort. Sarah and Rico are returning to Spain in June, when they plan to scatter Phoenix's ashes in the sea just meters from the beach in front of the resort. The place where they created their most cherished memories, watching the sunrise together.
As you have just seen in the video earlier, our next guest, Sarah, and her two boys, Rico and Phoenix, spent some very special time with us here in 2019, helping Sarah and Rico to make some of their most precious memories with Phoenix.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sarah C. Señoras y señores, os ruego una calurosa bienvenida a Sarah C.
It's so lovely to be here with you all and to share this time together. I really hope that just a little piece of anything you have seen or heard, no matter how big or small, will touch your heart and light you in a way that will help you to touch another family, in the way that you have touched mine and Scotty's and all the other families that have passed through. The memories we made here together, Phoenix, Rico and I, and the way that we were greeted and held by those of you we were so blessed to meet will stay in our hearts forever. Once the reality of our situation with the children's diagnosis set in and the isolation of having no one to turn to, I felt trapped. Everything from the point of Phoenix's diagnosis became about surviving the day in the best way for Phoenix, trying to stay hopeful for Rico and trying not to lose myself in a system I had no training or preparation for. Phoenix took his first footsteps in the sand when he was 7 months old. I didn't know at the time that they would be his first and only footsteps that he would ever take in the sand. We were on a beach back in the UK that I had spent many happy times out with his brother before Phoenix was born. It was just the three of us. It was always just the three of us muddling through. We had no consistency or control over many things until we closed our doors at the end of the day. And then the reality that it was all on me hit hard. I honestly don't know how I got through. Many of those days and nights and still found the energy and passion for life. Thank you. I often felt helpless and alone, and most of the time I was. This was our life for 10 years, one obstacle after another. We couldn't travel even out of the house with ease. I don't want to liken our life to that of a battlefield, but it is fair to say that the trauma of the diagnosis, on top of many traumas from my past, coupled with the reality, desperation and helplessness I felt towards our daily challenges, and my children's lives felt like one. I had to give up working and chasing a career. There was no time to think about anything other than appointments, hospitals, clinics, equipment, specialists, medical terms, adaptations to our home, and trying to find help so we could afford to put the basics in place that Phoenix now needed as he declined. It was a minefield of one stress after another, and it didn't let up year after year. I don't have a family that stuck together in times of hardship. It has never been like that for us. It was actually quite the opposite. It has always just been the three of us. I just wanted to focus on trying to be the best mum and dad to my two boys. But instead I had to juggle that with becoming an expert in everything to do with their conditions, a full-time carer and a physical therapist to Phoenix.
Tuve que darse el equipamiento, los especialistas, términos médicos, las modificaciones en nuestro hogar y tratar de encontrar ayuda para que pudiéramos simplemente poner a funcionar lo básico que Phoenix necesitaba mientras él seguía empeorando. Era un campo de minas con una situación estresante tras otra y no paraba año tras año. No he tenido una familia que se mantuviera unida en tiempos difíciles, nunca ha sido nuestro caso. En realidad fue todo lo contrario, siempre hemos sido solo nosotros tres.
We came up against many battles to provide what he actually needed versus what was being dictated to us, and most of it came at a huge financial cost. I got into debt and at one point couldn't afford to feed myself, yet still I had to carry on fighting and finding ways through. Amongst all of this, we met some amazing people who gave us the consistency and continuity of time and knowledge that it was enough for me to keep fighting. Even if the task of going on holiday had felt possible to me, we could never have afforded it on our budget, especially not during school holidays when the weather was at its best for Phoenix's lack of movement and Rico's skin. I remember saying many times, I can't do it, it won't work, I'm not up to it, crying and feeling useless, and then picking myself up and finally listening to the voice that said, be strong, this is for your family. This is beautiful. It's a gift from God. I spent 3 days and all night before we travelled the next day packing and bubble wrapping just Phoenix's kit. At that point, he was just under 40 kg. Lifting a human being who cannot help you at all when his head is at risk every time you do is very, very terrifying. We would have been totally helpless, but we got in the car, set off for the airport, and we made it to Spain. From the minute we arrived at the resort, I realised just exactly why we were meant to be here. Every single person we met at this resort, and I absolutely mean this from the bottom of my heart, made us feel like we were a family that was wanted, cared for and cherished. You made a pathway for Phoenix's chair so we could watch the sunset over the mountain at El Rancho. You joked with us, welcomed us every single day with such kindness, warmth, care and love. There wasn't a single person here that made us feel like we were anything other than a normal family. And if I could ever show you how much that meant to me and my 2 children, I would do that in a heartbeat. Which is why I wanted to show up for you today to say thank you. Even if you haven't met me and you don't know me, you are special to be part of this environment. It is so special and rare in a world where technologies have taken over. Human kindness and human contact means so much to a family like mine, as I'm sure it does to many the world over.
Please, whatever you do in your lives, just remember that the love and kindness that you showed my children, and the families that came before and after us will never be forgotten. It is my absolute heartfelt wish that other companies, hoteliers and holiday providers would be open to considering assisting families like mine.
Helping these incredibly grateful and courageous families has had the most rewarding and profound effect on the entire idyllic team. Very few hotels operate year-round at 100% occupancy. Hoteliers, for the cost of cleaning a room or suite, you too can give the most deserving of families a chance to make their everlasting memories.
Está diciendo que desde el momento en el que le hicieron, que le pasaron el diagnóstico de Phoenix, por supuesto que toda su vida cambió y que tuvo que reconsiderar muchas cosas.
We didn't practice that bit. I'm scared to say anything now in case I waffle. It means the absolute wealth. My surviving son and I have got this memory for the rest of our lives with his brother. We wouldn't have had that. We wouldn't have had the opportunity to do that. We wouldn't have been able to do that, and we wouldn't have enjoyed it and felt so normal. We really felt normal when we came here, and all of you, oh God.